Hi, everyone, and Happy New Year! Welcome to the show. This is an exciting show. Dr. Phillips is ready to save those piggies. Hey, Dr. Phillips, I'm already saving those piggies this morning. I'll get to that in a moment. But we have such an amazing show to kickstart our new year, our 2025 moving and grooving. I know, so absolutely cliche, but we have a very special guest. He is a new up and coming viral sensation. I call him the Zumba doctor. So, coming up, you are going to meet Dr. Raymond Polykit, and he is going to share his story on how he has moved from the clinic to literally practicing what he preaches and empowering his patients
Yep,
to
that's me for mine.
move to improve
Yee.
their cardiovascular and vascular health. So I'm really, really, really excited for that. But Dr. John, welcome. I hope your holiday was amazing. I can't wait to kick off this new year right alongside you.
Yeah, no, again, Happy New Year. It's really difficult to fathom that it's 2025.
I know, I know.
But as they say, time flies when you're having fun. It's been a while since I think you and I have seen each other face to face. So you're
Yeah.
looking fantastic as always. I look homeless as always, so that's good. I'm
I
really
love the
excited.
game day hat.
Yeah, got the new game day hat on, and it's interesting because our motto for the clinic this month is New Year, New You. We all have these New Year's resolutions, and I think a lot of them are ambitious, probably too ambitious. You probably, have too many on the plate, and then ultimately most of them. I think I forget what it was, but by like 3 or 4 weeks, whatever, very high percentage of people's New Year's resolutions just fall apart. So I was really excited to speak with Raymond about exercising and whether we're going to talk Zumba, but whatever type of activity, because everybody's New Year's resolution is to exercise more, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is really important. So hopefully we have something that sticks. I mean, before we went on the air, you said you are hooked on his videos and you have FOMO for missing out. So like
I
there must be
literally,
something. There must be
I
something
literally
to this.
do.
So I'm
Just
super stoked.
wait till we get to it. But I wanted to share a little story first that kind of set the stage and ties in what you and I do on a daily basis. Well, you as a doctor, me as a patient advocate. So not one and the same, but yet we work hand in hand to save life and limb and save those piggies. Had a message that came in this morning for an 80 something year old female grandmother, full custody of her granddaughter. She had come to us back in May when her doctor said, there's nothing that we can do except amputation. She said, I can't be immobile. I need help. He's telling me stents don't work. Let's go straight to amputation and you can move on with your life and get a prosthetic. And she was like, there's no way I can do that right now at my juncture in my life and with my granddaughter. So we got her to a second opinion from a different doctor who said, hey, I will get there. I will do an angiogram. I will take wires and balloons and stents and get these vessels open, but you have to do your part. You have to exercise because these stents are not durable. The only reason that you place stents or you do an angiogram is to get you just that much more blood flow to give you enough relief to get out and exercise and grow your collateral network of vessels, grow those new vessels to reroute blood flow. So she's feeling great after having this angiogram. She goes from walking 2 minutes to 25 to 30 minutes, jumps on a rebounder from 4 minutes, now at 14 minutes, doing great, goes into her old doctor because the new doctor moved out of town. Goes in yesterday, he does the ultrasound, still shows the same blockages, but never bothers to ask her about her symptoms and her symptom relief. Just says, see, I told you it wasn't going to work. Amputation is still in your future. You are delusional that you went and got a second opinion and went and got this angiogram because it was worthless. I mean, I was sitting here going, whoa, 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 whoa. And she was in tears. And I got on the phone with her and I said, no, how do you feel? Well, I feel great. I said, well, then what are you worried about? And the amazing part of my whole network is I was able to get back with the doctor I sent her to, who moved out. He introduced me to a new doctor who's on vacation in Brazil right now. He called me in that moment after the introduction from Brazil, gets the patient's phone number and calls her right then and there to give her hope again. Amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, Yeah, durability of some of our procedures is questionable, but there's no doubt that even if you open up the arteries and they block up again, you I think change some of the network of the bypasses, the collaterals that you have created, and help the patient with their ulcer healing or rest pain or whatever it is. We know that works in that particular procedure where you turn the vein into an artery. So whatever. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm kind of in 2025. I said I was going to be more direct in my line of thoughts. So I'm going to be direct. If you have as a patient and you go seek a second opinion, and that physician that gave you the first opinion doesn't like that, you need to find a new doc. Frankly, because that's rubbish, absolute rubbish.
Yep,
I haven't said
I agree.
rubbish in a long time. I like that rubbish. It's my
It
British.
sounds good coming out of your mouth, especially in this context. But
Yes,
it
exactly.
just goes to literally be aligned with the direction we're going with this conversation, which is that exercise is the best medicine. And even if you have a procedure you as a patient needs to do your part, and I'm really excited to jump into an option for patients and a doctor that's inspiring patients to get out and move and groove and build those collateral vessels from the legs clear up to the heart and even the brain to improve your mindset. So I want to kick things off with a moment of inspiration from Dr. Phillips before we jump into meeting Dr. Raymond Polliket.
Dr. John Phillips' spectacular vascular moment of inspiration.
So 2025. How do we get inspired? I was looking for a quote from Winston Churchill, just because I've been on a World War II kick. And so he's quoted as saying, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Time and time again, Kimberly, we talk about the courage to continue. And part of what we do is to help motivate folks. We want to inspire and elevate people, and that's what we're trying to do here. And we're going to inspire and elevate folks pretty soon here regarding exercise and Zumba.
I love it. Such a great way to prepare for our kickoff and introduction of Dr. Raymond Polliket. That's next right here on The Heart of Innovation. So don't go away. Big show ahead. Big show ahead.
We had a battle of a case, really heavily calcified vessels, Kim, that we sometimes see with these patients. That makes every step just a little harder, every device delivery, every needle throw, etc. But we're able to get a successful initial result. And this patient, before they got off the table, the operator had the acumen and wherewithal to interrogate the graft one last time before they finally got off the table. And we actually heard some diminished signals that made us think, you know what, maybe this graft is threatened and there's a little more fine-tuned work we need to do to make sure this is a durable result so the patient can keep their leg. And I'll tell you, a lot of folks at that stage would have said, we've been at this for a while, send them up to the ICU, to the floor, and we'll get an ultrasound down the road and maybe give some blood thinners and keep this thing open. Well, he went that extra mile and put the patient back on the table, re-got access, and sure enough, that graft had acutely gone down. And one simple additional intervention was all it took to get a durable result. And 3 days later, I received a recording of a beautiful pulsatile waveform in that foot. And it just goes to show, I think the lessons learned from that are the complexity of this, and the sort of grit and persistence it takes to make a difference, especially with a new technology, right? So I think that's very illustrative, of this space and the innovators and the types of traits that lead to success.
Glad to have everybody back. See, Kim, I'm trying something new. I usually say welcome back to the show, but I'm going to go glad to have everybody back for a little bit. See how that works. But at any rate,
I
so
like it. I like
let's
it.
kick it off. Raymond, welcome to our show. We've been hearing a lot about you. Kim's been getting me up to speed. So you are the Zumba doc. And as I was telling, we were talking before the show, we were talking during break. Exercise, in my opinion, is the one thing that a patient or anybody can do that will help them live longer. There are statistics that speak to less cardiovascular events, less cancer rates, patients and people that exercise regularly. So, new year, new you. Everybody has the New Year's resolution to exercise more. How do we go about doing this? And it sounds like Zumba may be the key that unlocks this, right?
Thank you, John. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for inviting me to your show. Well, pretty much, I could tell you how I started exercising myself. I turned 50 years old and I decided I have to make a change for myself. I took care of everybody. I was a pediatrician and ER physician for 20 years. And I took care of everybody, my family, and I just let myself go. I gained a lot of weight. I was taking a lot of medications for high blood pressure and all those other chronic conditions. And I said, I had to make a change. So that's how I found a way to be able to exercise. The gym is not for me. I know. It's just boring for me to do the treadmill and all that stuff.
It's
So
boring for so many people, which is why so many people just don't do it. Or they make the
yeah,
resolution in January that they're going to do it, and then come the end of January, the days they spend at the gym or on the treadmill, even at home, end up dwindling and becoming few and far between.
that's right. So I found myself enjoying dancing since I was a child. I've been dancing, but not professionally, and just enjoying it with family. I was born and raised in the Philippines, so we dance as part of our culture. So when I was introduced to an opportunity to join a Zumba class, that's how I got started. That was 8 years ago, and here I am today.
So let's go back to 8 years ago to that moment. I want to hear about that situation because if you weren't exercising before, I just would wonder what that conversation was like and who was that catalyst and what did they say to get you to say, what the heck, I'm going to try this.
Well, it was really my job. We had a contest in our job, and we divided ourselves into teams, and then we have a step challenge. So every day we have to make sure that we have those 20,000 steps. So they allowed us to have membership of a gym across the street, so that's what I did. And then it just got so difficult to get the 20,000. Then one of my office mates said, they have Zumba in the gym, right? I said, really? What is Zumba? I really didn't know about it. So he said, well, we dance. It's Latin music. It's a fun, group exercise opportunity. So I said, okay, let me try it out. And that's how I got hooked. I met my instructor, Mark, and we became friends until this day. And he actually is a co-founder of the studio that I created after I got really into the Zumba thing.
So it's so funny because I call that getting your steps through dancing is a little bit of cheatery when it comes to our patients who suffer from peripheral artery disease and they need to trigger that claudication in their legs as much as they can with every step to grow their collateral network of vessels. But Zumba is a very important, and every step you take there can actually improve your cardiovascular health, keeping your heart rate up. So that's 20,000 steps that you're taking to improve your cardiovascular health, getting your heart rate up, moving and grooving.
That's right.
So Raymond, when you embarked on this journey to get your 20,000 steps, did you, and this was how many years ago now?
8 years
8
ago.
years ago. Did you envision the fact that you would have a studio and then really try to be motivating other folks to kind of latch onto this? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're trained in pediatrics and ER medicine, is that right?
That's correct.
But I mean, so
No,
you,
I never imagined I'd get to this. But then I personally experienced the benefits of what I did, the change that I did for myself, it started to put me as the center of everything. And I lost 40 pounds in the process. I stopped taking a lot of the medications I used to take. And I said, you know what? It's time to share this to other people. And I thought, that this way of teaching and motivating people through our classes would actually have the same benefits that I had gained
Do you
when
remember
I
that first video that you posted online and the reception that you got? Because obviously, when you're not going to get excited about posting more online unless that initial post or one thereafter ended up. I see you smiling. So there is something to that very first post. Talk about that first post and the reception you got in posting your moves online.
Well, I'm not really a dancer, so when I first when I first posted my video, I said, I just see how it's gonna affect people. But uh, a lot of the feedback I got is more of like, oh, I love your energy, I love your smile. I see that you're really enjoying what you do, and I want to do that too. So I said, maybe it's gonna have some effect that way to other people. So I kept on doing that.
So
And so,
Raymond,
how did you expand? So you did it on your Facebook page, and then at what point did you decide to start your own group online for the Zumba doctor?
Well, well, uh, let's see. So I first of all, I became an instructor. From being a student is different, and then I moved into the being a Zumba instructor. That was because Mark, who was my teacher's, his class at that particular gym was shut down. So I told Mark, why don't we do it at my office? So we would do our classes after work at our cafeteria. And when he started saying, I can't do this all the time, so I need you to back me up. So I said, why don't you just get licensed to do it? So I started doing that, and I got licensed. And then when I got licensed, I said, well, uh, I want to teach, in some of the gyms, and so nobody really was hiring me. So I said, well, I can hire myself. I'm gonna have to make things happen for
An
myself.
entrepreneur at heart.
That's what
That's
I've
right.
always done, I've always made things happen for myself. So I created a dance studio that I can dance in, and then have students to come and reap the benefits of having one.
I love it. Coming up right here on the Heart of Innovation, we're going to have more with this inspiring new viral sensation, the Zumba doctor. So don't go away.
We have numerous studies that have thoroughly demonstrated that supervised exercise works. So that's fantastic. So we know that exercise works for this condition, and then everyone should be heartened by that, is the fact that there is something that you can control, that you can do, that can make a difference to your condition and make a difference in terms of walking distance, in terms of general cardiovascular health and quality of life outcomes.
Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
Glad to have everybody with us on this wonderful Saturday. So Raymond, I have a question that's just kind of been eating away at me here. So you go from a guy who sounds like is overweight and recognize that you need to make some changes. And so 8 years into it, you've took classes, you're now an instructor, you have your own studio. So walk me through or walk us through someone who comes into your studio who is in a similar position to you back 8 years ago. And how do you get them to, Raymond, I don't know how to dance. I'm overweight. I often feel overwhelmed. How do you get somebody to buy into this and saying, hey, listen, follow me, let's work together. We can get you healthy. We can get you. It's going to take some time and effort, and it's that courage to not quit type, like we talked about, right?
Right. So I always explain to them that coming to a Zumba class is not going to a dance class. This is not a dance class. This is a fitness class. So you go there. You don't have to have dance experience whatsoever, and our space is free from criticism, and you can be whatever you are or whoever you can be. Just move. As long as you're moving, you're good. You don't have to actually even move with the instructor or know all the steps at all. But if your heart rate is up and you're sweating and you're happy and you're moving, that is the goal. So some people may have the perception that it is a dance class, but as long as you're exercising and moving, that's a good thing.
It's funny because as long as I'm doing it anonymously, I don't care. I have no rhythm. And it's funny, I just started I've been dating this wonderful man who is a drummer with incredible rhythm. And my biggest fear is actually, getting on the dance floor with him when I'm seeing how horrible I am with my lack of rhythm. But what I love about going on with you is I can be anonymous when I'm watching your videos online, and I can literally kick my feet and I can wave my hands and no one sees me.
Well, but
That's
isn't that part of it though, right? Like you allow someone to it's a disarmed environment, right? And folks are free to be who they are. And to your point, Raymond, as long as your heart rate's up, you're sweating, you are exercising, you're doing cardiovascular work, um, you're helping your blood pressure to get lower, you're releasing endorphins and the dopamine hits, and you're gonna just mentally be feel better. I mean, it's an amazing thing. So, can you show us a few moves, like just while we're sitting here, or no? Is that I know. Can you show me some
And for
moves?
those that are listening on KDOW, you might want to head on over to youtube.com/ the at sign, the way to my heart, to see some of these moves that I get to see every single week when I participate in his online classes, or what he calls the performances.
But yes, we actually have a component in our program that's as a virtual Zumba that we have a lot of people who are joining from the whole world, the entire world, really, that can tune in and exercise with us. And you don't have to turn on your video or anything
So
if that's not what you like. So you're free to do what you want to do, at your, of course, what is comfortable with you.
So, some words from a really good friend of mine that she quoted from somewhere, I'm not sure where. And this resonates with me because this is what I love about it. Dance like no one is watching. And I can dance because no one is watching. I would imagine in your classes and the whole thing with Zumba and participating for everyone, no matter what your skill level is, literally dance like no one is watching, because it is all
Right.
about you, correct? It's about you as
It's
an individual and the benefits you get and the fun that you are having.
That's right. So you can be what you can move. Nobody's gonna judge you. And I've actually seen students who are just moving and then they actually develop and start hearing the rhythms and all that. So it's a good thing. And to see them also develop some of those skills as we move along, but that's not necessary. It really is not. And
Raymond, some of our patients are limited mobility, maybe have had an amputation or have an ulcer on the toe or foot that precludes them from actually kind of standing. Is there ability to do Zumba in a chair, kind of get your heart rate up, move your, I'm flailing my hands right now. I mean, wait, are there any options for folks like that?
absolutely. We have a program we call Zumba Gold that's specifically for active, older, mature individuals that also offers that. It's what you call like a chair Zumba in a way. But yeah, you as long as you're moving, you could be sitting down and moving your limbs, and that would still count and that would help you with your condition. Yes.
Awesome.
Well, coming up right here on the Heart of Innovation, we're going to hear from a couple of his students and hear how his classes and his energy have impacted their life. So stay with us right here on KDOW and the Heart of Innovation. Don't go away.
How many procedures are you willing to go through? Is it worth going through that many, or would you rather just step
That's funny. Was it worth it? Oh yeah, I have my leg, man.
Amputation should absolutely, positively, 100% never be a first-line treatment.
What an incredible operation, what an incredible lab you have here.
Without a doubt, we're underdiagnosing peripheral arterial disease. It has not gotten the attention that it should because it is a killing disease, it is a disabling disease, and most importantly, it's a disease that we now have great treatments for.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
They were going to amputate it, and I needed to consult with my family. Did I want it off here or here? You're just shocked. It's scary. I don't even know how to explain it. You're 42 years old.
We're waiting till people are at the end of the spectrum and almost beyond hope. There is good care available here. Closed minds are what we have to get rid of.
Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
It is great to have you with us on a fantastic show. Happy Saturday. The proof is in the pudding. So, Raymond, several of your students are joining us, and I'd like to introduce Melissa to the show. Melissa, thanks for checking in. How long have you been doing the Zumba movement with Raymond? And tell us about it. How's it going?
Sure, it's going well. I'm an instructor as well. But I got certified in 2015, but took a hiatus for a while of teaching and let my license go. But in the meantime, during the pandemic, I found Doc. And I was just coming across a class, and I took a class with him, and I could tell you he can dance better than he thinks. But yeah, I found him, and his smile and some of his routines that he did just inspired me. To the point where we just became friends, and I went down to his studio. I live in New York. I went down to his studio to meet him, and he kind of told me I had to get back into becoming an instructor. So I'm an instructor because of him. And in turn, I told him, well, he has to learn how to cook.
Oh, really?
So,
right.
yeah,
It's not just about exercise. You have to eat well, too.
Yes, and he didn't know how to, he's a chef now. I keep on saying he's more of a chef now. I do the cooking class with him on Sunday evenings. But he had asked me to basically teach him how to cook. And so we can incorporate it into the Zumba along with not only moving, but also eating healthy as well. And yeah, he's just amazing, man. I would do anything for him. And I love being a part of his studio where we all can, where we can all inspire like non-dancers to be able to know that they can do this thing on their own and be healthy in the meantime as well, and to just keep moving and get that heart rate going.
And you're a nurse too, right?
I'm a home health aide and a CNA.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so is this something that you inspire your patients to also get involved in? Do you see that much vascular and cardiovascular and health benefits to Zumba versus other forms of exercise? I guess any exercise that raises your heart rate is good exercise, right? As long as you're doing it.
Right. And I'm a big proponent of cardio. So to get that heart rate going, most of the patients that I have taken care of, though, are homebound and can't move a lot. But I have gotten them to do some chair Zumba or getting just moving, because the more you move, the healthier you can be and the longer that you can live just by keep on moving.
So you're paying it forward, so to speak. Melissa, I do have a question before we let you go. Did you have any particular goals that you wanted to achieve when you joined the Zumba movement with Raymond, and if so, were you able to achieve them?
Yes. Well, yeah. So my goal was at the time, since it was a pandemic, to keep moving 3 to 4 times a week. And I had a couple of classes here and there, but he had a constant class every morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning that I was able to join. So he inspired me to keep moving every single day. I could tell you I probably do Zumba like 4 times a week because of him.
And Raymond, how does it feel to hear this type of reaction from one of your students, the inspiration that you have offered?
Well, it's very heartwarming because sometimes you it's a lot of work. Like she said, I have to wake up early in the morning to do those classes, and it's a lot of work. And to actually hear somebody benefiting from it, and I think you didn't mention, Melissa, how you lost a lot of weight with doing Zumba as well. So
Correct. Yes.
well,
20 pounds.
goal.
So that was good. Yeah,
Yes,
I forgot
Wow,
about that part.
I lost.
congratulations.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And you know what's amazing is that we have one of our regular viewers and listeners that is joining us, Douglas, who's a part of the Global P.A.D. Association. He has peripheral artery disease and some cardiovascular things going on. And as we were coming out of the commercial break, he said, "Hey, I've requested to be in the group and participate in Zumba. And I'm curious, Douglas, if you can unmute and share with us what was it about this conversation or what you've seen so far or heard that inspired you to say, hey, you know what? I want to give this a try. Walking's great medicine and I do it every day. But what was it about this conversation and about Raymond that made you say, hey, I'm gonna jump in and do this?
It's something different, and it's something to do things with other people instead of just out exercising on my own or trying to do these things on my own and following somebody to get that enthusiasm to keep it going all year.
I love it. That community support and that camaraderie is a really big deal, isn't it, as Douglas?
Yes.
Yes,
Raymond.
and we I say this all, we're in this together, and we have to support each other. And I see the hope, courage, and strength from Melissa that I could get to inspire others also, and it comes from Raymond. And it just ongoing. We have to do this together.
Thank you, Douglas. And Raymond, talk about that, the camaraderie and the impact that that has on motivation. It seems logical and it's almost a rhetorical question, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Well, I think that we have actually built a very close-knit community with our program, that we have developed this ability to inspire each other, even through the virtual arena and platform. We were able to use that to have a camaraderie, like you were saying, and a group, and that you're not alone, especially during the pandemic when everyone was just at home. We were able to offer that they can actually speak to people now, and other people, and we became friends. Like Melissa, we became friends through all this, through the program. So I think that's also important. To for my oldest patient is 89 years old. My oldest student is 89 years old, and she told me several times that you give me hope to keep on moving and keep me healthy, and living longer was because of you.
And
So it's that type of stories that really inspires you.
And Raymond, we've got about 30 seconds left before we have to hit a break. But speaking of inspiration, the tragedy that happened in New Orleans, it's my understanding that you guys had a Zumba event that has raised some money towards the victims. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, just coming up before the show started, we just finished our Zumba fundraising event where we raised money for the Greater New Orleans Foundation to help the families that were affected by this terrorist attack on our city. And it's to us, it's part of our healing process. We feel helpless. We don't want. What can we do? So we offered that Zumba event for people to come together and help.
Fantastic. Coming up right after the break, we're going to finish up our conversation with Raymond. So you don't want to miss this. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
Your type of condition is called critical limb ischemia. It's the most advanced form of P.A.D. or peripheral arterial disease.
Every 4 minutes, there is an amputation in this country due to P.A.D. and diabetes. We also know that 85% of these amputations are preventable with early intervention.
It's a flip of the coin. Patient prognosis is tied to whether or not they are referred to a true expert in the management of peripheral arterial disease.
Do you know if your physician is an experienced CLI operator?
When you're in the hospital dealing with doctors and stuff, you figure they know what they're talking about.
The skill level varies doctor from doctor and hospital to hospital.
Patients with limb threat are in constant fear. The depression that someone experiences after they lose a limb is equivalent to those of losing their spouse of 40 years.
I was stuck in a wheelchair close to 2 years and my husband had to quit work.
I didn't know what to do at this point because we had nothing but infections and hospital stays and infections and hospital stays.
And they took one toe, another toe, and then it was another toe, and then half his foot before he was even diagnosed with P.A.D.
And all I heard was, "What are we doing here? Just cut it off." And I pulled the curtain back like, "Are you kidding me?"
Do you really want to go through all that?
That's crazy. That's insane.
The protocol is to send them to amputation. Always, always, always get multiple opinions.
We do have options. We need to listen more to our patients.
If you're going to chop off their leg anyway, why not just let someone else try?
This is the progression. First comes the wounds, and then comes an amputation. And I wasn't going to accept that.
So that's what it's like to try to save a leg.
Welcome back to the Heart of Innovation. For more on today's topic, go to theheartofinnovation.org. That's theheartofinnovation.org. Once again, here's Emmy Award-winning journalist Kim McNicholas and interventional cardiologist Dr. John Phillips.
Well, everybody, we are rounding third on our first show of 2025. I can't think of a better way to kick off the year by discussing exercise and trying to motivate folks. Make sure you keep those New Year's resolutions. Kim, what do you think about this Zumba craze? Are you in it for the long haul?
I think so. I tried to get in just a few minutes here or there when I can, and it's always inspirational, just simply because he has the most contagious energy. And it's really fun, as you know, in dealing with death and dismemberment. I hate to put it that way, all day long, every day. You need to keep you going. You need a little moment of inspiration, as we always talk about. And Dr. Raymond Pollickett has been that for me, and I can pull up his Facebook page anytime and just feel his contagious energy and spirit. And I get up out of my chair and I kick my legs and I do his crazy moves. And even if the ones I'm looking at are just simply his performance, I'm dancing as I know no one is watching.
And so those of you who are not, you got to get on our YouTube channel, but Raymond has this contagious smile. You see all his teeth. I mean, it's interesting because I pay all this money for my children's braces and none of them smile to show their teeth. And I think when you show your teeth, you're really into it. And I love it, Raymond. You've been an inspiration to all of us, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
And I'm curious, Dr. Pollickett, can I still call you that? I'm curious, do you ever have any regrets that you didn't start this Zumba craze and all of this exercise way back when you were actually a practicing pediatrician and ER doctor?
I know, right? I see children all the time, and I could have encouraged them more to exercise and dance with me. But when I started doing the Zumba, I would go to schools and also do Zumba with the children. I'm also licensed to do Zumba kids. But I wish I had known then.
Because it's a lot more powerful to, when you're saying do as I say, not as I do, but when you're actually doing it, that becomes so impactful and inspirational, right? And you were saying that back then you were overweight and you were not taking care of yourself, and yet you were asking the kids that you treated to do that when you weren't even doing it yourself.
Right, right. So now they see me actually. They said, "Hey, I'm the one that you delivered when I was when I was born," and then look at you, and they still get inspired at this point, watching what I've done.
And if you want to get inspired and you want to start exercising, kicking off your new year right, make sure to go on Facebook and you can go and join the Get Moving with the Zumba Talk. That is Get Moving with the Zumba Talk. So make sure to check that out.
You have leg cramps that stop you in your tracks. Aching and tightening that always comes back. It could be your arteries signaling something's wrong. Let's dive into this journey, come along. Walking